Hey there guys, welcome to a quick Master of Orion release look. Now, I won't really be showing you the game for this, cue a whole load of people clicking off, but I've already done a whole load of videos on Master of Orion, and not that much has changed. I think the only major changes is a few more races and espionage, really, since the release in early access. So we've had a proper look at it, and you can go and look at it. Obviously keep in mind that there are a couple more races, and we'll look at them in a second. And there's espionage as well, which we won't look at, but and so the game is officially released, and it's a good game. I haven't played it for a while, but I already knew it was at a decent. It was at a decent, level of game. It is a solid game, and it's a fun game, and you can get some very fun hours of entertainment out of it, no doubt. Mainly the things I want to talk about is things that disappoint me personally about the game. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We'll take a look at the races in a second. And before we go on into that, let me just say that it's been released, and I'm going to talk about a few things that disappoint me about the game personally, and they're not really like a detraction from the game even. You'll understand when I start talking about them. But we'll just say, they are intending to add in multiplayer custom races, minor civilizations, which will add in, obviously, like one planet civilizations, not main factions, just extra stuff, kind of a la Civilization 5 and possibly 4, I can't remember now, and mod sport. So that's great, the ability to mod a game is very important in this day and age, especially with games that aren't particularly good, not like this one, but yeah, mod sport great, minor civilizations great, multiplayer custom races also fun, all of that's good. And if you like, okay, so this is kind of hands down my example of what I find about Master of Orion to be slightly disappointing. So, and I realised that my mouse is a little bit weird. I'm not sure why it's doing that. I'll figure that out another time. So here are the races.
Hailing from the cloudy planet Altair.
So I'm gonna have to talk over that. There's no way to stop him. We could. No, we can't. I guess we can click on the customized race. But okay, awesome. So here's the customized race, and when you click on them, they kind of step forward, and you get this really nice narration of the description of the race, and you can see natural pilots, homeworld specials, artifacts, helps them with research, and homeworld size large. And that's great. And they look really cool. They're all very different. They've all got very different kind of play styles. The Cylon are about research. The Mershan are about ground troops to a certain extent. The Sakra, the Meklar are industrial, cybernetic. Thank you. And you can see they all look very distinct and interesting. And that's great, because these are some very classic races from Master of Orion, and I love that. Then you go into custom race, and you got the race genetics, where you're like, okay, race genetics can be Terran, why not? Leader name, you've got available points, so you can decrease your population growth or make your beam defense bad, to get a few more points, and then choose like cybernetic or lava breather or plains dweller, jungle creature, kind of all these things. Like go with lithivore, which means you don't consume any food. And then you go to next, incompatible with current selection. Okay. Then you go to next, and it's still the same look. It's still the Terrans. That's how it looks. And there's no real way to change that. You know, it's just like, well, you know, there's a certain amount of just like, oh, that's kind of a shame, really. Like, it would be nice to be able to choose what you look like and, you know, really get in depth with customizing your race. But this is the problem I have with the game, and it's in no means a problem with the game. It's a problem I have with the game in that I played it quite a lot when it came out in early access, and I played it quite thoroughly. I've done quite a you know, a couple of series on it and everything, and you know, it's a good game. It's enjoyable. I've got a lot of entertainment and enjoyment out of playing this game. We're just gonna skip past this intro.
Beyond measure have the honorable Alkari.
Really great. They chose the voice brilliantly for that. Yeah. So the problem I have with the game is that it's a good game, but it's also a bit shallow. The gameplay is solid. The gameplay is enjoyable. The gameplay is also shallow. That's basically the issue I have. You know, like, this is a great example here. You go to the frigates. You know, let's create a new ship. Doesn't really matter what it's called. Let's say it's a missile boat. Basically, we just give it loads of missiles. Oh, not that many missiles. So, you know, we say this is a missile boat. Maybe can we add in another missile here? No. Okay. So yeah, this is a missile boat, and then we'll give it the augmented engines, because we can't actually give it the augmented engines. Anyway, you know, that's quite cool, being able to add in these things and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, sweet. And then you can you know, you've got the base frigate model, and then you can change it to the alternate frigate model. And then you got the theme, you know, no theme, design A, design B, design C. And that's it. You know, like, there's so little customization you can do. And again, it's not a humongous problem, it's just a bit of a shame. And when you get into the fights, when you get into the ship-to-ship combat, it's fine. It works. It's solid. It's enjoyable. You can let the AI control. You can have partial control, or you can have complete control, and that's great. You can look in different views, you know, cinematic and that kind of thing. And that's great, but it's very, it feels a bit small, is the best way I can describe that. It doesn't feel like huge space battles between empires. It feels a bit more like, you know, one faction versus another faction kind of having a bit of a scuffle. And you can see here again in the tech.
Your Highness. What wisdom do you seek?
See this is great, and seeing this for the first time, you're like, wow, you know, especially if you're a fan of Master of Orion. Even if you're not, just seeing this guy and being like, oh, that's so cool. Like, you know, it's animated, it's voiced, it's awesome. But it does mean that there's a certain lack of depth to all of this. You know, I mean, let's see if we can see. So you've got the destroyer, you've got the cruiser, you have the battleship, you have the Titan, and then you have the Doomstar. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Basically 5 different types of ships. 6. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, no, it is 5. You do have the frigate as well. So, you know, scout's just like a little extra. So you do have 6. That sounds, you know, about what I was thinking, which is why I recounted. So yeah, you start with the frigate, and then you go immediately to the destroyer, and you know it's basically improving your ships. There's no kind of like branching off and, you know, getting kind of different styles of ships. You also get a troop transport, but that doesn't really count. You know, you don't like branch off and research other types of ships or other styles of ships. You know, you get the destroyer, and then you get the cruiser, which is better than the destroyer. You get the battleship, which is better than the cruiser. You know, you can't really use a cruiser to kill a battleship because the battleship is better than the cruiser. That's basically what it is. So there's no kind of strategic depth in what to choose. You build, you know, a couple of your best ship, and then quite a few of your next best ship, and then a whole load of your next best ship, and just, you know, kind of go from there. And, you know, again, talking about the troop transports, there's no ground combat viewable. It's, I think, to the best of my knowledge, I never really... Again, there's no real incentive to build these troop transports that much. You can just kind of bomb and take over. And it's not as easy, it's not better, but, you know, you can just bomb and destroy. There's no particular need to kind of charge in. And again, you know, you've got like this, like the neutron rifle. It's a boost to the combat rating of your ground marines. You know, great, but there's no seeing, there's no visual of your ground troops. There's no real kind of way to go like, oh, look at my cool ground troops, like let's see them in battle or anything like those. You know, it's very much just it is what it is. That's you know, not a terrible thing at all to say, to be honest, about this game. Really, you know, there's nothing wrong with it is what it is. It's a good game, it's a solid game. The only problem, please it's unimportant. I love that I still kind of go like, oh, I wonder what I should build. It's like, no, it's mostly unimportant what you build, mate, don't worry. And yeah, like these little thing here, they look cool. Another thing that I have a problem with, and again, it's not a problem with the game, it's just something I have a problem with, is that this is the extent of what you can see. You can't even go up or down, like see the entirety of your planet. You can spin it on its axis like this. Well, you can spin it like this. So, you know, it looks cool, but I'd love to be able to go down and see a visual representation of your city. You know, like when you're invading a planet, I'd love to see, you know, if you're invading an ocean planet, I'd love to see the troop transports coming down and the battle unfolding, even if you're not allowed to control it, or even if your control of it is very, very limited. I'd love to see the visual representation of it. And they had that in the second game, I believe, or the first game, I can't remember which one. And they took it out, I think, in the third, in Master of Orion's 3, which is, I think most people are in agreement that Master of Orion 3 is pretty much the worst one. And this one, I feel like has taken the good stuff from the good parts of the other Master of Orion games. I just feel like in the same breath, they haven't tried to improve anything, and that's my main problem. It's a fun game, it's really nice to have another Master of Orion game, and I've played and enjoyed it for the longest time. You know, I got some hours and hours, maybe even days of enjoyment out of this game. But it doesn't change the fact that they haven't really brought anything new from the old games. That's pretty much it. Like there's nothing new here. It looks better. It's very smooth. It's very streamlined. It's enjoyable. You know, play it with your friends and you'll have a fucking whale of a time. But at the end of the day, it they have brought nothing new to the table, and the things that they say they're bringing next, you know, the kind of the big kind of post-release updates, free updates to be fair. You know, these aren't DLC or anything like this, but they've got patches coming out to fix, you know, little bugs and stuff like that. And the free updates that they, you know, the big ones that they talk about is multiplayer custom races, minor civilizations, and mod sport. So, you know, it doesn't seem like there's any intention of adding kind of to what I would consider the kind of intricacy of the game. And that's the issue I have with this game, is like it's a great game and I really enjoy it. But I wouldn't have missed out on not playing it because I've already played the Master of Orion games. You know, I've already played games like this before. And aside from the visuals of being able to do this...
Ah, Highness! We're keeping busy, you see? Just you wait.
I mean, this is brilliant. It's great. Yeah, it's maybe not worth buying a game for, but it's a really lovely little extra. And, you know, you've got let's just take a few turns. You've got the GNN, which hopefully will turn up in a sec, which I really like as well. And like, this is the thing, is I'm not trying to put anyone off. You don't usually auto resolve, but because that's a scout, it will auto resolve.
The Academy has worked tirelessly on this, Highness. We soar ever higher.
Yeah. So if we get our frigate and place it there, I may be able to show you I know I said I wasn't really going to show you any of this game, and honestly, I'm not. Yeah, the music, the feel of it, you know, all of these things go together great. So let's take command. We'll do assisted command. And you see, like, the battle like this little bit here, the look of it, you know, is great. It's so good. And, you know, even when you get into this kind of, like, assisted deal, you know, you kind of basically telling your guys to go this way and fight these guys. And is there a way to change the... So you got free, where you can see how they fight. See, like, missiles going in, blowing up. Or you can do the cinematic and kind of go like, oh, that's awesome. You know, like, check that fighting out. And I'm not sure how that works, but they've even got the missiles sorted out so that you follow the missiles in, and, you know, you follow you follow the ships in and everything, and it looks great. It is, of course, what would be the way to describe it? 2D, I guess. Like, it's on a flat plane. Like, you can't go up, you can't go down, you can't maneuver your ships, and that, again, you know, this is one of the things that I feel where it's kind of like it feels like they could have done more. You know, they could have tried making it a different way. You know, they could have tried doing this galaxy, which again is on a flat plane, a different way. So you have to go up, you have to go down, you have to kind of like move around, and it makes things harder to it makes it harder to get used to. You know, it's something where people would be like, oh god, like, this is above this, but it's below this, and it's around this, you know, those kind of things. And yeah, you know, all of these things like slowly meld together into me going like, get it. If you're interested in it and you like the Master of Orion games, it's a good game, especially if you have a couple of friends who are interested in it as well. All of you get it together. That's awesome, because it's a great game. It's worth a little shot, especially if you haven't played any Master of Orion for a while. It's going to feel very nostalgic. It's going to feel very fun, and it's a nice update. Is it worth the money? I can't really speak to that. All I can say is, like, after a while, you may start feeling as I do, in that it's a cool game. It looks great. It's really solid. It's really kind of, it's got this really kind of shiny, polished feel to it, which is great in a game, even in early access to a certain extent. You know, aside from a few random bugs and that, you know, it felt polished. It felt shiny, and very, very good. But it doesn't do anything new. It doesn't. It has virtually no depth, really. So, you know, you may find yourself getting a little bit, you know, feeling a little bit like there should be more. And yeah, that's it. Like, I wanted to do a fairly quick look at the game. You know, I didn't really feel I needed to show off that much, because not too much has been added from the last time I did a video on this to this release. But, you know, they've added in espionage. I haven't experienced that. It might be really good. They've added in a few more races, which they all look quite interesting. So, and you know, it's the Dark Locks. I mean, we'll have a look at the new races very quickly, because they're very cool. You've got the Dark Locks, who are kind of spies and very, very cool looking shapeshifters. You've got the Meklar, who are robotic, you know, production and less food consumption. You've got the Klakon, who are kind of a hive mind. They're not very researchy, but they're very industrial, and they got subterranean as well. You've got the Silicoids as well. So, is that 4 new races? Yeah, 4 new races. And they don't eat food, they eat minerals. They breathe lava, apparently. They're repulsive, tolerant to gravity, huge homeworld size. It looked very cool as well. So yeah, you know, there you go. That's Master of Orion. Like, I'm not going to speak anymore as to, you know, should you buy it, or, you know, etc, etc. All I'll say is, like, I feel like they didn't bring anything new from the you know, they took everything they needed to take from Master of Orion, the original games, the earlier games, and they did it brilliantly. They've done a great job of making a Master of Orion game. I don't feel that they did enough to warrant me saying this is an amazing game. You know, taken as a game by itself, taken as, you know, you consider what they could have done, what kind of features and things that could be in the game but aren't. I don't feel like they really brought enough to the table to say, you know, like, this is an awesome... This is... I don't feel like they brought enough for me to say to you, this is what I want from a strategy game. This is what I want from a space strategy game. You know, there's other things. There are so many other kind of intricacies and depth of gameplay that I would desire from a game like this. Having said that, it's a really great game. It's so much fun to play with your friends, even if you don't know the Master of Orion series. So, you know... I'm not the type to do proper reviews or anything, so, you know, this isn't even really a proper review. This is just me talking about the game and, you know, and basically what I'd like to see in it and what I feel is a shame isn't in it, and, you know, blah, 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 blah. But, yeah, end of the day, I'm not going to tell you whether to get it or not. I'm not even going to tell you exactly, you know, like, in a score category, like, oh, 1 out of 10 or 9 out of 10, how much I like it or anything like that. I'm just saying, you know, game's out. We had a look at it. If you want to see more of it, I'm sure there are lots of videos out there, but I've done quite a few videos on it a while back, so you can always check them out. Anyway, there you go, guys. Master of Orion. It's a fun game. It's pretty much all you need to take away from the video, really. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It always helps me out a lot, and I do really appreciate it. And I will see you in the next one.